This is by far the most common mistake I see when people SEO their e-com stores. I've pulled up a couple of examples to show you this classic error, which I see time and again with e-com stores, what they've done wrong, and then I'm going to show you what you can do right so that you don't make the same mistake on your e-com store. So, what is this mistake? It's optimizing the collections pages and the main category pages correctly so that they actually rank for the main keywords you want to rank for. So let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. So let's take, for instance, a keyword like BC Racing coilovers. So coilovers are a type of performance suspension for a car. BC Racing is a brand. Now, people usually mix this up, and this is a good example because the issue you have with car parts is you've got the brands, those keywords, and then you've got the type keywords, and then you've got the type of car it's for. And so because there's multiple categories, people don't do the categories correctly, and then they fail to rank on some of these main keywords. So here's an example of this. If we take a look at this keyword, BC Racing coilovers, and then subsequently BC Racing as well, they're a coilover brand, so that keyword relates specifically to that. You can see that there's about 17,000, maybe 18,000 searches a month just on those two keywords alone, which is the main keyword for this. Now, the problem you have is, here's a website that I've come across that doesn't rank on page 1 for this, even though they even have a BC Racing page, and I will show you why they've messed up that page and why they're not on page 1 as well. But then there's another example where they don't even have that page at all. So the example of that is this website. So if we take a look at this website and we go to Google and type in BC Racing coilovers, we'll scroll down. You can see how far we go down. We're now on page 2 or 3. Keep going, keep going. And here they are. This website here. And now if we take a look at what they're ranking for, it's for a specific car model. It's not for BC Racing coilovers as the collection or as the category page. So when you click that, it takes you to this page here, which is that one that it's ranking for. Now, the reason this is not on page 1 is because it's ranking for a specific product, not the actual keyword page for BC Racing coilovers. And so the search intent for this is wrong because the only people that are actually going to want to see this page are people who drive Mark 7 Golfs, but it's eliminating all the other people. Now, the reason why these guys are not on page 1 is because they don't have a BC Racing page. So I've thrown their website into Google here and I've typed in this BC Racing, and I've also looked manually on the website itself, and they don't have a specific page for it. They've just got the products, as you can see here. You can go down the list and they've just got the individual products, but no actual category page for the specific keyword. And so the problem you have here is that they're missing out on about 17 or 18,000 searches a month just on those two main keywords alone, not even talking about these other related keywords. So in total, it's 20, 25,000 easily that they could be on page 1 for because they didn't do this correctly. Now, the other example I wanted to show you is these guys, Coilover Depot, who do have a page, but the one that's ranking position 14, which is the highest for this keyword, and then for BC Racing, they've got the actual correct page, but it's not ranking on page 1, is because if we go to this page, you can see here that yes, they've got the collection page, but there's no H1 headline, there's no content on this page, there's nothing. And so that's why this is ranking so low, and why this keyword is ranking for an actual product, because at least in that product, it's in the headline. It's in the H1, and this is why this product ranks for the keyword BC Racing coilovers, because it's got it there. Now, why this particular product ranks and not one of the other ones, who knows, right? Google picked one out, and you'll find that that's usually what happens in these cases, where it'll just rank a random product. And that is what happens when you don't set up the collections correctly and make sure that you're targeting the correct keyword with your collections. Now, I want to show you an example of exactly this same industry when it's done correctly. So if we take a look, we go back to Google for the keyword BC Racing coilovers, go straight to the top. Obviously BC Racing ranked for that because it's the brand name. But the second one is these guys, Fitment Industries. So now if we open their website, they've done a much better job. Now, it's still not 100% perfect, but you'll see why it's much better. So they have the H1 BC Racing, and I'll show you that it is actually H1. If we go into the code, you can see here, it is actually a H1 headline. And then they have a video. They've got the coilovers button here, which links to the main coilovers page, which is a good move. They've got a video. Then they have the products. So products from that brand, as you can see here. And then down the bottom, they have content. And if you take a look here, they've got headlines with BC Racing suspension, BC Racing coilovers, like all the different variations, BC Racing suspension kits. They have included all the variations in their H2s. If you take a look at the H2s, you will see that these are H3s. So they could improve this a little bit because they've got a couple of mistakes, as you can see here. This would be H2 and so on. but they're already in position 2 because they've basically got no other competition because nobody else has done it properly. So this is an example of when you do it at least more on the right track versus all the other people who don't even have pages. That's why these guys are on page 2. So this is a classic example I keep seeing over and over again with e-com stores where they focus on the products, which you should, but they don't focus on the main collection pages or even have a collection page at all for a particular product. Now, one other key note here that I want to make is you need to make sure that the collection page can actually be indexed by Google. So what I mean by that is a lot of times websites just have filters. So if we go back to this one and we'll go to products and we'll go to suspension, what we'll probably find here is they've got a filter down the side here. You see you can select coilovers and then you can select a brand. So BC Racing. And so they probably think that they've done this because now you can filter the products, right? But the issue you have is because this is a dynamic URL, this is not a fixed page. It's a dynamic URL that's basically a filter. Google can't rank this because it's not an actual page, and therefore they're not ranking for this because it's not a page. And so that is the classic mistake that most e-com stores make, where they have the filter and they think they've covered it, but they didn't because they don't actually have a collection page for that specific thing. So that is something you need to be careful of when you're doing SEO in your e-com store, to actually make sure that these pages actually rank for the keywords that you are trying to go after. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you want me to coach you on how to SEO your e-com store for only $49 per month, go to learndominatemarketing.com. And if you want us to SEO your e-com store with guaranteed results, go to dominatemarketing.io, book a call with us there. Catch you on the next one.